All right. Looks like it's 12:30, as indicated by our mics turning on. Thanks everyone for coming out here. I hope you're enjoying the conference so far out here in Orlando in the air conditioning. Today we'll be sharing with you what's new in external sharing and collaboration with OneDrive and SharePoint. My name is Eugene Lin. I'm a program manager on the OneDrive and SharePoint team.
My name is Rafael Lopez. I'm also a program manager on the OneDrive and SharePoint team.
And my name is Michael Pierce. I'm a designer on the OneDrive and SharePoint team.
I want to start out with a quick poll. How many of you were at Ignite last year and actually saw us talk?
Oh, wow.
Wow, all right, cool. All right, thank you for coming back. Didn't scare you away, that's cool. Okay, so in the next hour or so, we're going to be covering 4 main topic areas. We'll start with an overview of the sharing capabilities in OneDrive and SharePoint. We'll go over a set of what's new for end users, and there's a lot of new stuff. So be ready for a lot of demos and hopefully not too many surprises. We're going to go over an overview of the management capabilities for admins to help control your data and keep it safe. And then we'll go through some new admin features as well. But before I do that, I wanted to open with some framing on OneDrive and Office 365. So in Office 365, as you know, every person has a OneDrive. And just like every person has a OneDrive, every team has a library to hold their files. And so whether you're working in a team site in SharePoint or in a team chat in Microsoft Teams, OneDrive connects you to all of your files across Office 365. OneDrive is the Files app for Office 365. So through this presentation, we'll be talking about our cloud collaboration features. Those cloud collaboration features apply no matter what app you're using. For shorthand, I'm going to use OneDrive because we tried to put them all into the title of the talk, and it looked really awkward. So whenever I talk about this stuff, I'm going to say OneDrive, but really it's Office 365. Feel free to ask us questions afterwards. So OneDrive makes external sharing easy and secure. I'm going to start out with 3 really simple scenarios. The first one, I want to go send a folder full of sales materials to a potential customer of mine, Larry. And I want to make sure that it's easy for him to open that, right? This represents me and my organization, so I'm going to be super embarrassed if he has to go through a sign-in or gets asked to go enter a password or create an account. I just want him to open it, and I'm okay with him forwarding it to anyone else because, after all, it's just a bunch of sales materials. So what I'm going to do is I'll select this folder full of sales materials, I'll hit share, I'll type the name of my partner Larry, played here by Rafael, and I'm going to hit send. OneDrive will craft an email to let him know that that happened, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the other side, on Rafael's screen.
So here we are in Larry's Fabricam Airlines mailbox. Let's give it a couple more seconds to arrive. Okay. It's all right. We got a backup. No, this is the wrong one, actually. This one's coming up next. So this is the one that we're trying to talk about. So the first thing you'll notice is that this link will work for anyone. It says so right at the top. This gives me confidence, so I know that if I'm going to add other people to the email thread or forward the mail on to other people, then I know they'll be able to access the link. It just works. I'm going to show you this by opening this link in a private browsing session, which just really proves I'm really not signed into anything at all. But you'll see it just opens just like that. No frills, really, really simple.
All right, thanks a lot, Rafael. That did look really easy. So as you saw, it's really easy to send a shareable link that works for anyone. In case your organization doesn't have that as the default, simply go to choose the green globe, a link that works for anyone, and go send it. Now I'm going to dig in a little bit on the details on what exactly is an anyone link. An anyone link is a transferable, revocable secret key. It's transferable because it can be forwarded to others. It's revocable because I can revoke access at any time. It's one of the cool things about working in the cloud. And it's a secret key in that users need to have the key to get access. They can't just find the file or think of what the URL would be. It is really a secret. Visually, you can see that if If you have the link, you have access. If I want to give access to somebody else, or if Larry wants to pass it on to someone else, he simply has to send them the link. And he can send that to someone inside or outside of my organization. What's really key here is that, oh, that was a pun. What's really key here is that if they don't have the link, they don't have access. So again, it's kind of like an attachment, right? You send an attachment, you have to have it to get access. So as you see, anyone links are the easiest way to share files and folders. You simply type a name, hit send, recipients get to decide who else gets access by passing them the link, and that link is guaranteed to open for anyone on any device, anywhere in the world. And what's cool about the links is that you can send them however you want to. You can do it in email, you can do it in chat, you can do it via text, whatever mechanism you want. But that doesn't really meet all possible scenarios. Sometimes you want to share something that really is only intended to stay inside your organization. This is super common for us at Microsoft, super common for many of you. In this case, I want to send a document to my colleague Michael, and I'd like him to review it. And again, I want it to be easy for him to pass it around to other people, but I don't want it to accidentally leak outside the organization. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. So again, I'm going to go select this blueprint prototype, and I'm going to hit share. But I'm going to change this to say this link should only work for people in Contoso, because that's where we work. Now I'm going to go ahead, type Michael's name, and hit send. Again, it's really, really easy. And now Michael's going to show you how easy it is for the recipient to open that.
Thanks, Eugene. So let's go ahead and head over to Outlook. All right, looks like I got an email here from Eugene, and I'm going to go ahead and click open. Just like that, the document opens, and I'm able to collaborate with Eugene. Now let me just simulate that I'm not signed in, what would happen. So I'm going to go back to that email. I'm going to copy the link. And I'm going to paste it into a private window to simulate not being signed in. As you can see, it requires me to sign in, keeping the data secure.
All right, thanks a lot. So as you saw, it's really easy to send a link that only works for people in your organization. Again, you can pass it around to whoever you want, but in case it goes outside your org, the link doesn't work for those people. A people in my organization link is also a transferable and revocable secret key with this additional property that it only grants access to internal users. And so like before, it can be forwarded to other people. I can revoke access at any time, and users need to have the key. Even if they're in my organization, they have to have that link to be able to open the file. The way we make sure that these links only work for internal users is that the link requires users to be signed into an account inside your organization. And if you're wondering what inside your organization means, we mean members in your Office 365 directory. That is, people who aren't marked as guests in the directory. Visually, you can see it's similar to an anyone link in that I can pass the link on to other people. But if I pass the link on to someone outside of my organization, they're not going to be able to use it. They'll get an access denied, and my data is safe. In a way, you can think of it as this like magical, wonderful attachment that just doesn't work when it leaves your company. It's a really easy way to share things freely and openly inside your company without worrying about any kind of accidental leakage outside. And so people in my organization links allow your recipients to forward freely within your organization. They block external people from accessing it. And most importantly, this is not the same as just opening it up for everyone in the company to find it. This is still a secret key that you pass around from person to person. Michael can pass it on to colleagues who need to know about it, but that doesn't mean that everyone in the company sees it. They have to get that link from somebody to get access. So really easy to share using shareable links outside your company or inside. Next up, I'm going to go through another scenario, which is I want to share securely with one partner. I want, in this case, my partner Larry to go get this secret document. And again, I want to make it easy for Larry to go do that, but I need to make sure that Larry doesn't accidentally pass it around to other people because sometimes he's a little floppy. So let me show you how that works. So I'm going to come back here and choose to go share something with Larry, in this case, our financial model. So I'm going to hit share. I'm going to choose this link only works for specific people, and the specific people are named Larry. So I'm going to type Larry, hit send. Again, that was really easy. And now Raphael's going to show us how easy it is for Larry to open that, even when we have to prove that he is Larry.
That's right. Oh, look, this time it arrived immediately. So this time you'll see that the mail says that this link only works for the direct recipients of this message. In this case, that's only me. So when I click open, you'll see that because it's a secure link, I do have to prove that I'm one of the intended recipients. But I don't have to create an account to do this. I don't have to create a password. Instead, OneDrive will email me a one-time passcode. So here it is, and so all I have to do is enter it into the other page. I'm not sure I copied that correctly. So this code only works once, and it expires after 15 minutes. So I'll click verify, and I'll instantly be taken to the Excel document.
All right. Thanks a lot, Raphael, or Larry. All right, so as you saw, it's really easy to send a link that works for specific people. That link you send is only going to work for them, whether they already use Office 365 or not, whether they have been set up as a user in your organization or not. Those specific people links are a non-transferable revocable secret key. It's non-transferable because it won't work if it's forwarded to other people. And it only grants access to the specified recipient. If that specified recipient is somebody who's already in your organization, either an internal user or a guest user, they'll get access with the account that they already have. But if there's someone brand new, like Larry, then they'll get a simple one-time passcode to prove that they own that email address. This is really, really unique because it means that whenever Larry opens that document, he needs to prove again that he still works at Fabricam Airlines. It's a really great way to make sure that they still work at the organization that they say they work for, and they don't have to go through the pain of creating an account. So you can see from this diagram that I can send a specific people link to someone inside my organization or to someone outside. The link will work for them, and if they pass it on to somebody else, it won't work at all. And so there you have it. Specific people links only work for the people you specify. They're really easy to send. You can do this for people inside or outside of your organization. And if the recipient has no guest account, we'll do email verification via a simple one-time passcode. They don't have to create an account. Office 365 is the only enterprise-class file sync and share solution that lets you do this kind of secure sharing without making the other person create an account. It's really, really an awesome feature. Try it out if you haven't tried it. So there you see, super easy to share to a specific person. But the title of the talk is what's new, and so we want to go through what's new, and there's a lot of it. And so we've made sharing even better with a number of improvements to Office 365. If you've looked at OneDrive, if you've looked at SharePoint sometime in the past, take a look again. We're always adding new capabilities, and there's always more to see. We're introducing our new Smart People Picker, which allows you to find the people that you want to share with faster and type less. Using Microsoft Graph Intelligence, OneDrive predicts the people that you're likely to try and address based on your collaboration patterns, not just in OneDrive, but based on the people you email with, based on who you're meeting with. Using these patterns, we can bring that intelligence into OneDrive so that it's easy for you to share. This is going to be coming later this year. I want to show you another cool feature. This is one that we've actually just gotten lots of spontaneous feedback on before. As you recall, I sent a link to Michael so that he could look at it. And one of the things people often wonder is, well, did someone open it, right? Should I ping him? Am I being annoying? You can see here that I have an email that says that Michael opened the link that I sent to him. OneDrive's new link open receipts make it really easy for you to see when somebody has actually opened your link on the other side. All you have to do is send a link, and the first time somebody opens it, you're going to get a confirmation mail that says your link was actually received. Isn't that pretty cool? Next up, Michael and Raphael are going to show you a new feature we have to help you control who your links can be reshared with.
All right. So I really like this feature. So let me show you how to use it. So all you have to do is select a document in OneDrive, go up to Share, go up to Link Settings, and we added a lot of stuff here, but today we're just going to talk, or right now we're just going to talk about setting a password. So all you have to do is set a password, hit Apply. That's applying a password to the link so that when Raphael receives it, he has to enter that password. And just like that, it's on its way to Raphael. So let's switch over to his experience.
Yeah, let's see what that looks like. So here I am signed into my own Office 365 account. Let's give it another second for the email to arrive. Here it is. And so when I click open, you'll see that even though I'm already signed into my account, I still have to enter in the password that Michael set up for the link. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll hit verify. And again, just like that, I'll be taken to PowerPoint Online. Super, super simple.
That was really great. Thanks, guys. Switch over to
Wrong
6,
one.
please. Yes. All right, so as you can see, password-protected links are a really easy way to prevent any accidental resharing of anyone links. If somebody goes and gets that mail and they shouldn't have it, they're not going to know the password anyway. Users have to enter a custom password before accessing the file or folder. This is coming later this year. We're really looking forward to your feedback on it. But that's not the only way we have of controlling access. Raphael's going to show us another feature that makes it easy for you to keep your cloud content in the cloud.
That's right. I'm really excited to show you this one. This was block download feature was one of the most highly requested items on user voice, and so I'm really excited to be able to show you how that works. So here I have a Word document, and so all I have to do is I'm going to hit share, and I'll go into link settings, and you'll see I'm able to select block download. I can do this for an anyone link, and I can also do it for a people in Contoso link, for people in your organization link. I could also, coming soon, I'll also be able to do it for specific people. Today, I'll just show you what it looks like with an anyone link. So I'll go ahead and enable it, and apply, and I'll copy it to my clipboard. Now I'm going to open another private browsing session and paste it in. You'll see that, like before, because it's an anyone link, it just opens. But this time, it tells me that I don't have permission to download or print this file. You'll see there's no download buttons, and even in the ... there's no download. But what's more, even if I select text and I right-click, I don't get an option. If I do Control-C and I go into Notepad and I paste, that's just the link that I already had on my clipboard. I'm not able to take the content outside of the Word document because Word Online and OneDrive is protecting it.
All right, thanks a lot, Raphael. Back to 6. All right, so as you saw, our new block download capability allows you to keep your documents in the cloud so that you can avoid people getting out-of-date copies, and you can maintain access control over your files. These are available for view-only links. It's coming this fall for Office files. Please take a look at this. It's a really great feature. So up till now, we've been doing all of our demos from the web, but I'm pretty sure most of you have phones. So Michael is going to show you some cool stuff we have in mobile.
OK, thanks, Eugene. Let's go ahead and get the phone up on the screen. So we've been busy working on updates for the phone, so let's start with OneDrive. Here I am in OneDrive. I'm going to go ahead and select a file and share it. As you can see, we now have the same simple sharing experience that you're all familiar with on the desktop, now on the phone. But I'm not done. I have something else I want to show you. Happy to share with everybody that we also have brought the same sharing experience to all of the Office mobile applications as well. But I have one more thing, too. Take a look at the Teams logo. Just as easy as tapping on the Teams share target, you can now easily share that link with Teams to any chat or channel as you want. Thanks, Eugene.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Super, super cool. And so we've brought the full OneDrive sharing capabilities to Office Mobile as well as to OneDrive Mobile, because we believe with Office 365 in a no-compromise experience for collaborating, whether you're on the web, on a desktop, or on your phone. This is rolling out right now for iOS and Android. We're really excited about it. And as you saw, you can get that whether you have Word, Excel, or PowerPoint installed, whether you have OneDrive installed. You can get to those features in any one of those apps. And you can now send links directly to Microsoft Teams, chats, and channels right from within the app, and then get back to your work. It's an example of the kind of integration you get only with Office 365. But since we're talking about Teams, we need to have some purple in the slide. And so I'm going to show you how you can do exactly the same kind of thing when you're working within the Microsoft Teams experience. So let me switch back over here to my Contoso organization. And here I am in Teams, working with the marketing team. I have an animation that I've been working on, and I wanted to go share it with the team. So I'm going to go ahead and select that file. You'll see as before, Teams will upload that into my library. But what you can see is that it actually shows me the permissions available on that link. Those permissions map to the policy that I've set for the default sharing permissions across OneDrive and SharePoint. And I don't want my team to edit this file. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and choose to change settings on that link. And what you'll see is that right here within Teams, we've brought that same experience to Teams. On top of that, this experience has been tailored specifically for the Teams experience. Other than the fact that it matches in styling, you'll notice that there's a new option here. You see, I only want this file to be accessible to the people in the marketing team. And like you saw earlier, I could select specific people and go type marketing, but because I'm in the context of a channel inside the marketing team, we have a new feature here, which is I can now permission this link to only work for the marketing team without having to type anything extra, and I now get a specific people link that works for the people in the marketing team. Really great integration. And so, as you saw, with our new integration with Microsoft Teams, you're able to get full OneDrive sharing capabilities right where you work. You can see link information at a glance, and you can customize security settings with familiar UI that's been tailored to the Microsoft Teams experience. So that's a look at some of the ways we've made sharing better. Lots of new features across mobile, web, and desktop, new features in Microsoft Teams, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I mean, we're not done. I can't even read this list because we only have 75 minutes, so I'm going to move on to some of the other features that we want to show. So sharing isn't just about hitting a button that says share, although we love it when you do. Please keep doing that. There are lots of other ways to work together, and so we want to talk about some of those now. So now we're going to show you another way in which Office 365 makes it easy to work in the cloud.
You'll see here I'm in PowerPoint Online, and I'm looking at a deck, and on the second slide, Eugene left a comment. He's questioning something in the deck. And to be honest, I also don't really know the answer, but I think I know the person that does. And so what I'm able to do is I can @mention them to bring them straight to this conversation. So all I have to do is I type an @ in the comment, and you'll see I get this rich list of people suggestions powered by the Microsoft Graph. These are the people that I work closest with. They're not just the people that I share with. They're the people that I email and that I meet with. It's the people I work with to get work done. Michael's the area expert, and I work very closely with him, and that's why he's on the top. So I'll select him, and I'll post the comment. And just like that, OneDrive is going to send an immediate email notification to Michael, letting him know that I mentioned him and that I'm trying to pull him into this conversation. In just a few seconds, Michael will show you what that's like. But before, I want to show you another thing. In this case, when I mentioned Michael, he already had permission to the document. But I can also mention people that don't already have permission, such as Navjot. So when I select her and I post the comment, you'll see that because OneDrive natively integrates with PowerPoint, I get prompted to share. And with a single click, I'm able to share the document with Navjot and send her an immediate email notification, again, bringing her into this document. But of course, this still follows all of the sharing policies and admin settings that you've set in your organization. All right, Michael, why don't we go ahead and take a look at what that looks like.
All right, let's switch over to my experience. So here I am in my inbox. And we'll give it 1 second for it to come in. And there it is. I see Raphael mention me, so I'm going to hit open. And you'll see as soon as this loads, I'm right into the document immediately. But it doesn't just open the document. It's actually going to open up the comments pane and take me directly to the question that Raphael needed help with. I love that. Thank you.
There's one last thing we want to point out, though. You'll see that when I mentioned Michael, this was actually a reply to Eugene's comment. So why don't we take a look at what that looks like from your end, Eugene?
All right, so I'm going to go take a look at my mailbox. Now, you remember, I wasn't mentioned in this at all, but you can see that I get a notification telling me that Raphael replied to a comment that I had left in the document, so that I can keep up with what's happening in the conversation, even though none of them had to explicitly mention me since I started the thread.
Yeah, these sorts of collaboration features absolutely, totally change the way you work to make you more efficient and let you get work done faster. So super excited to have shown it to you today.
All right, so as you saw, @mentions in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are a really easy way to bring people into your document with @mentions. And with the integration we just showed you, you'll get an automatic sharing prompt if you mention someone who doesn't already have access to that content. So you can pull people in whether they already have access or not. This is going to be rolling out on web, Windows, and Mac, and it will be coming soon to iOS and Android as well. So we're really excited to be showing you that. Now that's all about Office, and Office documents are the way the world gets work done for many cases, but there are other file types as well. And so Raphael is going to walk you through some of the new collaboration benefits we're bringing, even if you're working in other files.
That's right. So I'll start by going to Share with Me, because I've been working on the project with my colleague Randy. So I'll click on the folder. And this is a project for a brochure that we're working on. And this is going to be the cover of the brochure. But you'll see that the roof is red, but we had discussed that it should be purple instead. And so what I can do is I can just leave a comment with this new OneDrive commenting feature that we're adding. So I'll just go ahead and say, I thought we said the roof would be purple. And submit the comment. And just like that, again, OneDrive is going to send an email notification to Randy, because he's the one that created this file. And so a few minutes ago, I was showing you the new collaboration features that we were bringing to PowerPoint and to Office files, but I'm really excited to let you know that we're actually bringing them to all file types on OneDrive.
All right, so as Raphael just showed you, you can now make comments on all file types in OneDrive and in SharePoint, so that no matter what kind of documents you're working on, you're able to collaborate with other people with comments and notifications that those comments have happened. One thing I want to call out here is that this feature is really cool because you can work with people even if they're not using Office 365 on the other side. I can share a document with someone. They don't even have to have any kind of Office subscription, but they're able to open that document, view it online with the hundreds of file support in our previewer, and comment on those to work together no matter who they are, no matter what company they work for. So another way that people work is often by putting files into shared libraries. And Michael's going to show you a great new feature we have to make working that way even easier.
Thanks, Eugene. I'm excited, as part of my job, to always go out there and meet customers and see how they're working. One thing that we recently identified that when people were working in a shared library is that they would often upload a document, then they would go over to Outlook, and then they would go in and put in people's names, you know, hey, I just updated this document, can you come check it out? Well, I'm here to show you how we are saving you some time. So here I am in the shared library. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to choose a file. And as soon as it's finished uploading, you'll see that there's a nice, convenient notification that lets me notify my team instantly by just hitting notify. What it's doing is it understands all of the people which have access, and it's letting them know that a new file has been added.
It's really cool. Thanks, Michael. And so as Michael just showed you, our new notification feature makes it really easy for you to notify team members when you've added a new file to a team library. You'll get a convenient prompt to save you time, since it's very likely that's the next thing you're going to do anyway. And once you've taken us up on that offer, we will pre-populate it automatically with the people who have access to the folder. So you don't have to type everyone's names or all of those groups. They'll just get a mail letting them know that you've put something in there. It's an example of how we're trying to find ways to basically meet you along your workday and make work a little bit easier, no matter how you work, no matter where you are. So that's a look at how we've made working together better. In Word, Excel, PowerPoint, there are new ways to bring people into your document. You can make comments on all file types in OneDrive and SharePoint to get your work done. And we've made it easy for you to notify team members when you've put new content into a shared library, whether that library came from a SharePoint team site or from a Microsoft team. But there's more. So we've done new work to make it easier on the receiving side as well, so that if someone is sharing content with you, we're going to help you get engaged so that you don't miss important work, and you can go get in there, get your work done, and get back to what you are doing. To start with, we're happy to announce that desktop sharing notifications are rolling out right now, both on Windows and Mac, so that when somebody shares a file with you, you can stay informed right where you're working. You'll get a native notification in Windows or in Mac OS telling you that someone shared a file with you. It's really easy to dismiss that if you're busy, or to jump in and get to that without having to check your mail, without having to go to a website to see if anything new is happening. This is rolling out right now. Please try it out. We're really excited to hear your feedback on this. You may have noticed when we showed you the sharing mail that the Contoso branding was appearing in the sharing mail. We're also introducing a new feature to make it easy for you to stay on brand by putting your company's brand into the sharing mail so that those recipients know that it came from your organization and this is like an official mail. Now, what's even cooler about this is many of you already have this configured. You may be familiar with the Azure AD company branding feature that allows you to brand your login page and other screens in Office 365. Well, we've just integrated with that so that if you've done that, your sharing mails already look like this. We wanted to make it really easy for you to take advantage of this, and because we're all an Office 365 family, all of this stuff works together in the suite with the feature that you already have. One of the things that we often hear from customers is, you know, when I do send that mail out, like I want to know whether someone actually looked at it or not. And with our link open receipts, as you saw, it's easy to tell when they have. But the question is like, you know, what do? You feel a little guilty about asking people, have they opened it yet? Well, our research has shown that if your mail hasn't been opened within 7 days, it's very likely never going to be opened. And so we thought, well, there's got to be some way that we can make this a little bit easier and a little better to work. And so today, we're happy to bring you another convenient new feature, automatic sharing reminders. In this case, this will help you stay on top of files. Oh, yeah, thank you. Stay on files, even if you miss the original mail. I haven't even finished telling you what it is. OneDrive will detect when you've missed a sharing link, and after 7 days, when you're statistically likely to never open it, we're going to send you a simple reminder, just to make it easy for you to get back there and not miss your work. Pretty neat, huh? And you know, you're not always living in email, and so sometimes when you're in OneDrive, you may want to know if interesting things have happened. So we're adding new activity indicators to OneDrive so that when you're in there, if you happen to be looking at your files, we're going to tell you whether interesting things have happened, whether someone mentioned you, whether someone made a comment, whether someone made an edit to a document you might care about. This is another way we're just trying to make it a little bit easier for you to keep up with what's happening, and maybe you catch something there that says, oh, I should probably go take a look at what Alan did. And so this is going to be coming later this year. It's another way that we try to make work easier, and so we're really interested in hearing your feedback on this. And so as you saw, we've done a lot to make receiving easier. On the desktop, you can get notifications without having to jump into email. Our sharing mails allow you to stay on brand when you're messaging the customers and partners. You'll get an automatic reminder to let you know that you may have missed something important, and you can find out about interesting activity without even going anywhere. You can just go to OneDrive, see that stuff, and happen to notice it. But I want to talk a little bit more about managing access, because after all, sharing isn't just about being convenient, it's also about helping keep your users from making mistakes. And so this next feature is actually interesting. It's not a new feature. It's actually been here for years, but most of you probably don't realize it exists. But I want to talk about it because it's really important. It's a key differentiator that we have in Office 365, and it's really important in terms of security. So in this scenario, I have a pricing plan document that I want to share with an external partner. And so I just want to go copy a link to the clipboard and send it to them that lets them view that. By the way, our usage data shows that most people share documents by copying links to the clipboard, either because they want to write a real email, they want to drop it in a chat, they want to send it in a text message. And so in this case, I'm copying a link to the clipboard that lets people read. But later on, let's say the sales team says, hey, we want to make some edits to the pricing. Can you pass us a link that lets us go edit those prices? And so I say, okay, give me a link and make that an edit link. But the question is what happened to that link? Because I have a bunch of external partners who have a link, and I don't want them to be able to edit the prices. Well, OneDrive has, and actually has always had, a smart link protection feature that protects your existing links from being accidentally modified by other people who go change permissions. And so whenever I get a link that has different permissions than one that already exists, OneDrive automatically creates a separate isolated link so that your existing users continue to have the access you intended them to have, and your new users get the access that you want them to have. This all happens under the covers, and again, it's something that I bring up because as far as we know, there is no other cloud solution that does this. And so if you're using some other solution out there, or if you're considering or evaluating it, we actually just want to let you know you should look very carefully about how their link management works when you're copying the clipboard, because there's actually some really unobvious behavior out there. This feature will really help you stay protected so that you can just grab a link whenever you want, send it out there, and not worry about making any accidents. So Michael is now going to show you how we've made it easier for you to see and manage who has access to your content.
Absolutely. So first, let me show you how to get into Manage Access. I'm going to find my legal document that I've been working on with others. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Details Experience. And you'll see right here there's an entry point for Manage Access. Clicking on that loads our brand new Manage Access experience that we just built. And you'll see that the first section shows all the links that are giving access. Makes it really easy to see the links that have been created, and it's very clear to see which ones do what. You can see this one does view, and a simple tooltip shows me that it expires at this date, while this one has a password on it. A new part of the Manage Access experience that I'm excited about is the Details experience. As you can see, you can now go into it, and we have a little list that shows who it's also been shared with, as well as the settings on that link. If you see someone here that shouldn't have that link, access through that link, you can easily delete the link. Now, if you just want to, stop sharing all up, we have this option for stop sharing right here up at the top. In one click, you can now return the document to being private.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. So as you saw, our new Manage Access experience makes it easy to see who has access to your content via sharing links or via direct permissions. It's really easy for you to unshare, and I want to point out that whenever you send a link out, OneDrive actually tracks all of the people who've opened that link, so that when you delete a link, everyone who had access through that link also loses access. So in the previous example, I could decide to get rid of the link that gave my partners read-only access, and the sales team would still be able to edit it because their link would continue to work. It's a really easy way to work together with other people using links, and it prevents you from making any kind of mistakes that might accidentally expose your data. We're also happy to be introducing the Shared by Me view. We've talked about this a bit earlier. This is available right now in production. You can now see everything that is available to others from your OneDrive, so that you can easily check, is this file available? Can someone else access this? And from there, you can easily unshare if something is amiss. This was something that people have been asking for. Folks who are using the consumer OneDrive wanted to see this in business, and so we're happy to be bringing this to you. For content that was shared with you, we're also bringing out the new ability to see content that was shared from other organizations, so that if someone is using Office 365 and shares a file with you from their organization, you can now see it in Shared with Me. And based on your feedback, we've added an indicator there, the globe, so that you can see which things came from outside of your organization, just in case, so that you know when something's going outside. Now, sometimes people don't have access and they want to request access. How many of you have gone through the experience of approving an access request? Right? All right, cool, and that's not fun, right? So Raphael is going to show you how we've made that experience a little bit better.
That's right. So here I have an access request from Omar. When I open the email, you'll see that we've actually integrated natively with Outlook to provide two very easy options for you to simply approve or decline the request. In this case, I know that Omar is supposed to have permission because we discussed this project before. And so I'll go ahead and I'll just click approve, and you'll see that didn't work, but it's misbehaving. Normally it would work, and in a single click, I'm able to just approve his access.
All right, thanks, Raphael. All right, that's not bad. We've gone through a lot of demos, and we had one glitch. It's pretty good. We've got a lot more to go. So as Raphael showed you, with one click, you can now approve or decline access requests right within Outlook, so that you can get through your mail, you can triage your work, and get right back to your work. You don't have to go out to a browser. You don't have to go through any kind of forms. Outlook recognizes OneDrive and SharePoint access requests and automatically turns them into actionable messages to enable this. Now, don't worry, if you're using like a worse email app that isn't Outlook, this is still going to work. It's just that you're going to get a regular mail with a link. It's going to take you to the browser. You'll go through all the fun you go through today. But with Outlook, this is available now on Outlook on the web and in Windows Desktop. You're probably seeing it already if you're using those products. It's another way that we're trying to make work a little bit easier for you. So There was a set of features that make managing access easier in OneDrive and SharePoint. We've got new UI that makes it easier for you to manage the links and manage people who have permission. We've brought Shared by Me into OneDrive for Business so you can easily see who has access. We're bringing external content into Shared with Me with clear indicators on what's outside. And we have one-click access request approval that works almost all of the time. So next up, I want to walk through and shift gears to talk about the management experience for admins. How many of you in here are admins? Right? Woo! Woo. All right, awesome. Cloud admins, this is great. So I'm now going to talk about some of the admin controls we have for external sharing. And Office 365 gives you a lot of control. We have an unparalleled amount of customization options so that you can tailor Office 365 to the way your business works. You can control who can share to external users. You can control which external users can be shared with. You can control what can be shared externally. And you can control how externally shareable links can be used. Now, we don't expect that most of you will look through all of these settings and tweak every one of them. Our goal here is that no matter what kind of organization you're in, big or small, whether you're in enterprise, whether you're in education, whether you're a small business, that you're able to tailor Office 365 to fit the way your users work, so they can get their work done while minimizing risks and really just making work a little bit better. So I'm going to start by walking through a high-level view of some of the controls that we put in place in case you're not familiar with them. You can control who is allowed to share outside of your organization. Of course, by default, everyone can share externally. If they have to work with a partner or customer, they can go ahead and do that by getting a link that works for anyone or a link that works for specific people. You can also choose to only allow specific people to share outside your organization. This is really helpful in some organizations that have either a particular division, like your marketing team or sales team may need to work outside, but maybe your engineering team doesn't. Or if you have some kind of training procedure or any kind of approval process that has to happen, you can manage that through a simple security group and say only people in the security group are allowed to share outside of your organization. And of course, you can completely turn off external sharing if that is not something that your org ever has to do. It's pretty rare that people do this, but I just want to, for completeness, show you that that's possible. Now that was how you can control who can share externally from the sharing end, but you can also control it from the receiving end, and you can specify which external users can be shared with. You can allow sharing with any external user, and they can go pass it on to other people through those anyone links we showed you. You can also require that any external sharing happens with authenticated users only. That is, users who've proved their identity, like Larry we saw before, and they can't pass it on to other people. This is useful if you don't want those external shares to be able to be spread to others. You can also block sharing with specific domains. So if you have a competitor out there or you have some organizations that should never get access to your content, you can simply specify those domains and block those organizations from ever accessing your stuff, even if it's shared with them. And you can even be more restrictive and say, in some cases, you only have a few partners you ever work with. You can specify a set of domains and say external sharing is only allowed to people in those domains. And in some cases, you actually may want to allow sharing with only specific guests. In this case, you can just literally pick the people in the world that your organization is allowed to share with, add them to your directory, and say you can only share with people who are already in my directory. This kind of flexibility lets you configure Office 365 to work the way you work and keep your stuff safe while not getting in people's way. And all of these capabilities can be mixed. You can decide only this set of users are allowed to share, and they're only allowed to share with people in these domains. I'm just showing these things separately to give you an idea of the kinds of possibilities that are there. You can also control what can be shared externally. By default, of course, you can share from any OneDrive. You can share from any library, whether it came from a SharePoint site, whether it came from Microsoft Teams, whether it came from an Outlook group. You can share with people as you need to. You can, as an administrator, block sharing of sensitive files. You can do this through DLP. You can specify rules as to what is sensitive based on common data types, based on customization you want. And OneDrive and SharePoint will automatically block external access to those files, even if they were shared in the past and have now become sensitive. You can also choose to block external sharing only from your users' OneDrives. If your organization has policy that says everything that shares outside has to go through a particular site or library because there's an administrator there, then you can block sharing from OneDrive only and allow sharing from those libraries. And in some cases, you may have particular libraries that need to be shared, so you can block external sharing only from those and allow them from other ones. All of this flexibility is there to help you configure Office 365 to work the way you work. We also give you control over how externally shareable links get presented to users. You can require expiration on externally shareable links so that a link automatically expires when a user goes to choose to share it. And users can go customize that within the time frame you specify, so that if you say a link has to expire within 30 days, a user can go shrink that expiration if they want, but they can't make it go longer than 30 days. You can also configure defaults. You can default to externally shareable links, as you saw. You can default to internally shareable links, that is, the links that only work inside your organization. And if you've set that as the default, actually like we do inside Microsoft, then you can allow users to still switch so that if they do want to share something outside, let's say like photos from a morale event, then they can go ahead and make that switch. But what you're doing is you're minimizing the chance that somebody accidentally creates an anyone link without realizing it. This requires explicit action, and so it lets people do that when they need to, but by default, it's not going to be shareable outside. And finally, you can also default to explicit permissions if you want, so that if you always want your users to share in a way that isn't forwardable to others, you can go set that as the default. On top of that, you can also set the default permission people get. You can say by default that they're able to edit the file, so they can make comments and they can make proposed changes, or you can default to view, so that if by default most people just want to give view-only access, you can go configure view-only access to be the default in OneDrive and SharePoint. And so that's just a few of the ways that you can already manage your external sharing within OneDrive. I want to talk about a few new features, starting with the one I just talked about, the ability to set default sharing permissions. So as you know, when you set the default link type, whether it's one that works for people outside, whether it's one that works for people inside, that applies to your entire organization. That means if I configure the default to be links that work for anyone, that applies to all of my OneDrives and all of the libraries across all of my sites and teams. But what we heard from many of you was that, well, what about some sites that have specific requirements? In this case, the legal team actually works pretty differently, so I'm a little nervous about making the default links that work for anyone. And the same thing goes for the sales team. But on the other hand, I don't want to have to hobble my entire organization by locking everything down just for those two cases. Well, today, we're happy to be bringing you new per-site default link settings so that you can now customize default link settings on a site-by-site basis to allow your users to get their work done. This will allow your users to get their work done while following best practices in your organization. Site by site, you can configure the scope of the link, whether it works for anyone, people inside your organization, or only the people you specify. And you can configure default permission to be view versus edit, so that your users end up getting a custom experience for every site they're on that matches your organization's best practices and keeps all of your data safe without getting them in their way. Earlier, you saw the access request flow. One of the things that we've heard from people is that that access request page is a little bit intimidating. It just says request access with a text box, and they don't know who they're talking to. Well, today we're happy to be bringing you a new feature that allows you to customize that access request page on a site-by-site basis. So you can now enter a custom message, and that message will be shown on the access request page so that you can let people know this is what's going to happen, this is whether you should be requesting access or not. By providing that context to your users, you can reduce your support cost by letting people understand what to expect and when to expect it. So earlier we showed you the one-time passcode feature that makes it really easy to share in a secure way with external users. We've been hard at work addressing feedback, making that feature even better, and I'm excited to have Raphael come and show you some of the new work we've done to make that experience even better.
Yeah, so the one-time passcode experience we showed you a couple minutes ago, for those of you that were here in this session last year, you'll remember that we actually announced it last Ignite. the feedback that we got was that even though it was a really simple experience, you wanted to be able to manage those external users as guests in the same way that you are already used to. So I'm really happy to announce that we're actually integrating OneDrive with Azure Active Directory's B2B platform. So let me show you how that works. I'll start by sharing the same way that Eugene shared earlier. So I'll just select specific people, I'll hit apply, and I'll again type larry@fabricamairlines.com. Yes. And I'll hit send. So again, what this is going to do is it creates a secure link for Larry that only works for him. But with the Azure AD integration, let me show you what happens on the administrative side. So I'm an administrator in this organization, and so I'll go ahead and I'll load the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. You'll see that when I go to look at who all of the users are in my directory, there's going to be an account down here for Larry. So before Larry even clicked on the link or accessed the document, OneDrive created a guest account in the directory. Now, this may seem like a small thing, but it actually opens up an immense amount of possibilities with all of the management and policies that Office 365 and Azure Active Directory provide. As an example, I could, if I wanted to, set up a conditional access policy that requires all external users to go through multi-factor authentication before signing into their guest accounts. And of course, this still works if the way they're signing in is with one-time passcodes. So, yeah, thank you. So basically, in conclusion, this really does bring the best of both worlds. The experience on the recipient side is still very simple with these one-time passcode sign-ins, no need to create accounts or remember passwords. But as an admin, you're still able to manage and set policy to them as guests, just as you would expect.
All right, thanks a lot, Raphael. And so as you just saw, we're bringing all the benefits of Azure AD B2B to the one-time passcode experience of sharing from OneDrive and SharePoint, so that just like before, you can share securely with anyone in the world without requiring them to create a password, without requiring them to create a Microsoft account. They'll go through a simple verification with a one-time passcode if they're not already in your directory. And we're taking all of the capabilities of the Azure AD B2B platform, including easy guest management that you're already familiar with, the ability to specify conditional access, Google Auth federation so that users who are signed in their Google account can automatically be authenticated. And I want to note that these guests don't require Office 365 licenses. You can share with people outside of your organization and get all of the benefits of Azure AD management and all of the benefits of that great end-user one-time passcode experience together. We're really happy to be bringing this to you to combine the power of Office 365 with a really straightforward one-time passcode solution for end users. Another feature that's been a really popular request has been the ability to expire external access. As you know, we have the ability to specify expiration dates on links that are shareable with anyone, but what we've heard from many of you is that we want to make sure that anyone who has access to any of my content, however they have access, loses it after a certain amount of time. Well, we're happy to be bringing you, later this year, the ability to expire external access automatically. A tenant admin will be able to specify a mandatory expiration period. In this example, 90 days. Site admins have to then go vouch for those users to renew their access. If a site admin doesn't do anything, all of those external users lose access to everything in the site. It's really nice. It's a great way to make sure that people only have access if they still need it. And you can customize for your own processes how long that period is, whether it's every 90 days, whether it's once a year, whether it's every week if you want to. So let me show you how that's going to work. So in this case, Elvia gets access to some file in my site because somebody has shared it with her. And so her access is automatically going to expire after 90 days because that's the policy that I've set as a tenant admin. Now later on, Tim also gets access. His 90-day timer starts as soon as he gets access. Before Elvia's access expires, I, as a site owner, can easily go see a list of who's about to expire and go extend her access. I'll automatically get a notification telling me that there are people whose access is about to expire so that I can go in. And if I happen to be on the site, there'll be an indicator there that says I should go take a look at the external users who have access. So in this case, I'm going to extend Elvia's access, which gives her another 90 days to still have access to the site. And if I don't do anything about Tim's access, his access automatically goes away after 90 days. This is Tim's access to files, to folders, to lists, to pages, to anything on that site goes away entirely if I don't take action as a site owner. And by the way, I can also take anyone on this list and immediately expire the access if it turns out that I see something amiss. So this is a great way to keep your content secure by limiting external access, and it doesn't require your site owners to do anything at all if you want them to automatically expire.
This one looks exciting.
This one does look pretty exciting. So the last thing we want to show you is, again, a feature that's been really heavily requested. And so Raphael is going to show you how we're making it easier to see what is shared externally.
Yeah, so I actually am very excited to show you this feature because I personally remember last year at Ignite at the booths in the expo, this was probably one of the most common questions that I would get, which was, hi, I'd like to see a way to understand what way all of the permissions are set up on my site. What's a report that shows me everything that's shared externally? So I'm happy to show you how that's going to work. OneDrive is going to create a CSV file, which is a way for you to be able to do anything you'd like with it. Today, I'm going to show you how I'm able to find out everything that's shared externally on the site via Power BI. So from OneDrive, I can select the CSV file and click Open in Power BI. We'll give it a couple seconds, and Power BI is going to import that file, and then I'm going to show you how to make a very simple report.
So because this is a CSV file, you can actually open it using whatever tools you want. Raphael's showing you how you can use our built-in Power BI capability to build the custom reports that you want with only a few clicks.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'll start by just dragging in these resource URLs. So this is going to create a little table, and these are all of the items on the site that are permissioned differently than the site itself. Next, I'm going to drag in user email and username. And so this shows me, whoops, username. And so these show me who all of the recipients are for those shares. Where it gets really interesting is we have a field called user or group, and that allows me to filter to only show the things that are shared externally. So now this is everything that's shared externally, and what I can do, I can keep going and I can understand, do these external shares, do they grant edit right, or is it view only? And I can, for anything that is inappropriate, I can actually find out what link, if it's shared via a link, what link is it that's granting that access, so I can go and delete that link if I feel the need to.
All right, thanks a lot, Raphael. And so as you saw, it's going to be, we're making it really easy for a site admin to go generate a report of all of the items that have been shared from a site with external users. We actually went further and said, we're not going to limit it to external users. We're showing you everything on the site that has been shared with anyone that is different than the site itself, whether they're inside or outside. For every user, you'll be able to see what kind of access they have, whether it's view or edit. You'll see which link gave them access. And you'll be able to take all of this content in the form of a CSV file to do analysis in Excel, to open in your own tools, or with the power of Power BI, build custom dashboards so that you can do all of your analysis using the power of Power BI. It's an easy way to see what is shared outside of your organization, and we're taking advantage of the integration in Office 365 to let you connect this to Excel, to Power BI, or whatever tools you would like. All right, so as you saw, OneDrive makes external sharing easy and secure. It's easy to share with shareable links, whether you're sharing outside or inside your organization. We've made it easy to share securely with a specific external person, and now brought all of the goodness of Azure B2B together with that one-time passcode experience. We're actually surprised no one else has done the one-time passcode thing yet. I guess it was pretty hard. We're bringing we have lots of capabilities to help you manage the way sharing and collaboration works inside your organization. And I hope, as you've seen, Office 365 only gets better over time. We've been hard at work incorporating your feedback to make OneDrive and SharePoint even better. Our new Smart People Picker makes it easier to share. For mobile users, we have new sharing capabilities in OneDrive, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint mobile apps. For Teams users, you can now share directly to Teams, or you can do it all within Teams itself with our new sharing integration in chats and channels. Our new company branding makes your sharing mails look really good, and your recipients won't miss them with our new automatic sharing reminders. You can work together in new ways with @mention support in Office. And if you're not working on an Office document, collaborate easily with new comments in OneDrive. No matter what kind of file you're collaborating on, you can find out what's happening with our new activity indicators. And you can help your team stay in the know with notification on upload. Whew, okay. You'll know when your link was opened with our new link open receipts, and you can see everything you've shared in our new Shared by Me view. You can also see everything shared with you from external content with our new external content in Shared with Me. Managing access to those users is easier with our new Manage Access UI. If someone needs access, they can see our new Customize Access Request form, and you'll be able to approve it easily with one-click access request approvals in Office. You can control resharing with our new password-protected links, and you can keep your stuff in the cloud with our new block download capability. Wow. It's easier than ever to manage external content with our new Azure AD B2B integration, and you can customize what your users see by default with new per-site default link settings. Admins can expire access with new external expiration, and as you just saw, site owners can finally see who has access to their content with our new external sharing reports. As you can see, we have brought improvements to every aspect of cloud collaboration. With these new capabilities in OneDrive and Office 365, we aim to make every workday a little more productive, a little more secure, and hopefully a little less work. So that's what's new. Thank you so much for coming. It is a privilege for us to represent the team's work. Before you go, I have one favor to ask. Please take a few seconds to evaluate the session. Your feedback's super important to us. It enables us on the product team to keep coming back here and directly engage with you to make our products even better. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your conference, and we'll see you at Universal Studios tonight.
Thank you.